Hey, what's up guys? It's Axel Max here bringing you another Black and White 2 PO battle, and today we have a battle against Mrflyingemo. Again, really creative names on PO, but anyways, today we have an RU battle because people did kind of complain a bit that I was doing too much OU. Which is fine. I have been doing a lot more of it, but that is just because it is the standard tier, and as of late, it is my best tier in my opinion, which is why I've been doing a lot more of it. But today is RU, and I found this battle a while back on the PO server, and it is using an RU team I've kind of been working on. I don't want to say it's a stall team because it's not supposed to be, but because it does have like a Hitmonlee and a Scarf, the mainnet stripped on it, but this battle was a bit stally, as you'll see. So let's get into it right away. I'm going to lead off with my Pharisee as he leads off with his Lantern, which is a great matchup for me right away. He's going to switch out right into his Amoonguss, predicting like Leech Seed. I'm going to go for the Stealth Rocks, get my hazards up as he has no spinner. I know he's going to go for the Spore this turn, so I thought my best bet was just to put my Spiritomb as Sleep Fodder. But now I have a safe switching into my Sigilif, and I can get that Flame Orb, because Sigilif does really troll in RU. He's going to switch up into his Steelix, probably just wanting to get his hazards up, which he does, but not before I'm able to get a Psycho Shift on this thing and burn that Steelix, which is great because that is residual damage. As you know, Steelix cannot get Toxic because of the Steel typing, but I'm kind of trying to stall up for burn right here because I want to free switch him into something else, because I didn't want anything to take a Gyro Ball, so I'm just going to stay in and go for some Cosmic Powers, as I do know he carries a Roar, but I really don't care because I wanted to free switch in and get that burn damage. Luckily for me, he roars me out into my Scarf Mainnet trick, and I'm guessing he didn't predict the Overheat because that thing demolishes that Steelix easily from that range, and this 30 is broken, so he's going to go into his Hitmonlee as I'm going to switch out into my defensive wall, which is my Quagsire. He's actually going to make a double switch into his Crawdon. I'm not sure if predicting my Quagsire to come in, but I guess it does work out for him because he's going to go for the Adaptability Crunch, and from that damage, I already know that it's a Banded Crawdon, so that did way too much to my Quagsire. But now I'm going to be able to get up a Toxic on this thing, which is great because that's also residual damage. But I'm going to go into my Spiritomb. At first, I wanted to be Death Fodder, but I realized his Amoonguss was still alive with the Spore, so I knew that I had to save my Spiritomb for later. So I'm going to go into my Ferris Seed, which I know can take the Crunch easily because it does resist it and the Violet and whatnot. So the Toxic is racking up quite a bit on that Crawdon, and in case he wanted to go for another Crunch, I went for the Protect to stall him out, but instead he switches out into his Cofagrigus. He over-predicts my switching into my Sigilif, predicting the Will-O-Wisp, so I'm going to go for the Leech Seed as he goes for the Shadow Ball, which Versa takes easily, and this turn I'm going to go into my Swirls, the Spiritomb, to take a Will-O-Wisp in case he had it, which he does, because what Sigilif, Cofagrigus don't carry with Will-O-Wisp, but I'm going to get that necessary recovery for my Spiritomb, and he's going to switch out into his Lantern. I wasn't sure what Lantern could really do to my Spiritomb, so I kind of stayed in trying to wake up. But he's going to go for the Hydro Pump, and that thing is probably Specs, because that thing easily took me out, my Spiritomb, from that range. So I know I can safely switch into my Sigilif now, as he's going to go back out into his Cofagrigus, and I'm going to go for the Psycho Shift, just to get a burn on whatever he wanted to do. Whether he wanted to stay in with his Lantern or switch out into his Cofagrigus. So that's going to also be residual damage. So as you can see, it is pretty stally. It's not meant to be, but it is. I'm going to pick the Shadow Ball as I go up into my Ferris Seed. Unfortunately, he gets a crit, but I don't think it mattered too much. And then again, I'm going to pick this Will-O-Wisp because I really do not want my Ferris Seed burned, because Ferris Seed is a pretty big part of my team against his right now. So I'm going to go into my Sigilif, predicting that Will-O-Wisp. As he's going to go for a Shadow Ball, I wanted to stay in just to rack up residual damage on that Cofagrigus. And luckily for me, it doesn't look like this Cofagrigus even has rest. So I went for the Cosmic Power just to see how I can take a Shadow Ball. Take it pretty nicely, but during the battle, I did not realize he got the special defense drop, so that did way too much to my Sigilif, and that was a misplay on my part because I didn't really see the special defense drop. So I know I can't stay in for another Shadow Ball and go for the roof, so I'm going to switch out into my Pharisee to take that Shadow Ball once again. And this time, instead of going for the Will-O-Wisp, because I have been pulling some shenanigans, he's going to switch out right into his Hitmonlee. I went for the Protect to see what he wanted to do, and here I'm going to go for it again, just in case he had the High Jump Kick, and then he can take 50% damage to himself. But no, he has a close combat, and he's gonna switch up moves and go for the Stone Edge. And I pull a Pokemon and stay in because he probably predicted my Sigilif to come in, but I went for the Leech Seed like a pro. And now I'm gonna go for Protect again just to stall out some of the Leech Seed. And because he's switching moves and I don't see Life Orb or anything like that, I'm pretty sure he is the Burden Hitmonlee with the normal to Fake Out or something like that. So now I'm gonna go for a Gyro Ball just to get some damage on him as he actually switches out right into his Lantern. So that was a questionable play, but he's gonna go to his he's gonna go for the Ice Beam, and even with Specs, Lantern is not very powerful because my Ferris Seed takes that pretty well, and I'm able to get off a Leech Seed. So now he's gonna switch out, and he goes into his Amoonguss, which I guess he really should have done in the first place. I went for the Protect just right again, just because I wanted Leech Seed, recovery, and damage and whatnot. But now I do predict the Spore, and because I have Flame Orb activated on my Sigilif, it will not be affected by it. And now I'm gonna able to get off a Roost just to get some more health. And luckily for me, he actually goes for the HP Ice, but because Roost does take out the Flying typing, I am able to take it a lot better than without the Roost. So now I'm gonna go for it again as he switches out into his Crawdon. I'm gonna go up to full HP, but I know I can't stay in against this thing because it has the Crunch. So I find this a good time to switch out into my Ferris Seed as Death Fodder, and because of the Iron Barb's damage and the Toxic damage, that will be enough to take out that huge threat in the Crawdon. So now I'm gonna switch out into his Cofagrigus as I'm gonna go into my Magnetric because it is Scarf. And I do predict this Amoonguss switching, and I'm gonna go for the Overheat, and that does quite a bit to that Amoonguss. That did a lot of damage, and that was a pretty good prediction on my part. So I know another Overheat would be enough to take it out, but he switches out because Amoonguss does have Regenerator, so he wants more health, as he goes into his Cofagrigus as Death Fodder. So I am at -4 now because of the Overheats, and I know I can't do anything to this Hitmonlee, so I'm gonna switch out into my Quagsire, kind of as Death Fodder because I did predict the Fake Out. Unfortunately, he gets a crit, but it doesn't really matter because any move of his desire from this range will be enough to take out my Quagsire anyway. So now he's super fast, and I know I can't really outspeed him with anything else, so I'm gonna go into my Sigilif. I know I can take one Stone Edge because he is not boosted in any sort of way, and I'm able to get off that important Psycho Shift burn on that Hitmonlee, which will render it pretty much useless, as I'm gonna go with my own Hitmonlee, shifting another Stone Edge, which it resists quite nicely. And I'm not the Unburdened Hitmonlee, I am the Reckless High Life Orb Hitmonlee, and I do carry the Mach Punch, and that will be enough to take out that Hitmonlee. So, that's great for me. And now in comes this Amoonguss. I know from that range, 2 Stone Edges from a Life Orb Reckless Hitmonlee will be enough to take him out. He gets off the Giga Drain, which does quite a bit, but even after the recovery, another Stone Edge will be enough. But unfortunately for me, I missed, and the battle could have been over right there, because his last Pokemon was his Lantern after that, which I could have KO'd with the High Jump Kick. But unfortunately, I do miss, which drags on the battle a bit more. But I do have the perfect counter to this Amoonguss, which is my Sigilif. I'm going to go for the Roost as he goes for the HP Ice. Of course, because Roost takes out your Flying typing, it will not do a whole lot. And I'm going to go for another Roost to get up to full as he predicts my Roost and goes for the Giga Drain. It doesn't really matter too much because I am at a reasonable amount of HP where I can go for the Psycho Shift. Get the burn on the Amoonguss for some residual damage as he's going to go for the Giga Drain. He gets a crit. Again, it doesn't really matter because against Sigilif walls Amoonguss very, very nicely. And now he's going to switch out into his Lantern as I'm going to go for the Roost just to get up a little bit more HP in case he gets a crit or something like that. But now I was fearing the Electric type attack, so I went to main Electric just as a Death Fodder sort of thing. As he goes for the Hydro Pump, unfortunately he misses, but that's kind of payback tax. As I go for the HP Grass, and he lives with 1% and he misses the Hydro Pump again. So, yeah, that kind of makes up for the Hitmonlee missing Stone Edge thing. So, I'm going to take him out with another HP Grass, and this is where he hits that big run button because he knows that with my Sigilif still around, he cannot stall me out. So, that is good game, Mrflyingemo. It was a pretty solid battle and a long battle, but like I said, this team really wasn't supposed to be, yet it kind of is because of Ferris Seed and Quagsire and Sigilif and whatnot. But yeah, expect some more lower tiered stuff. I will do some OU, of course, but expect some mix of tiers and whatnot. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the battle. Remember to like, comment, sub, and I'll see you guys next time.